Yo folks, and welcome to the channel. My name is Bork. In today's video, we'll be talking about Clan Battle 9 for Princess Connect. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. First things being is the bosses, right? So when it comes to the details, we're here on Maho Insight, and you can see all the different bosses available. You know, we got the bunny, the deer, and Sagittarius. These are like the big hitters. When it comes to like Griffin and Wyvern, we know what to do against those guys, right? When it comes to the bunny though, you want to run magical teams. I hope you guys have sort of gotten the hint where I showed like these auto teams. You know, magical is the one that you want to run for the bunny, and same thing for Sagittarius. And then thank you to Violet for creating this one right here with the Google spreadsheets with the different teams. And you can see the teams on the left are going to be, you know, magical oriented for Sagittarius, as we talked about earlier, and then physical teams when it comes to the deer, and then of course magical teams against like Bugs Bunny, the bunny dude, right? Now the reason why we're running magical teams is because the Bugs Bunny dude has like some weird mechanics where he says he has like equal parts physical defense, but he's just like able to negate like physical defense or physical attacks a little bit better. And then when it comes to the soul horn deer, he is so annoying because he has a stun and not to mention a knockback, and he also reduces magical defense and attack speed. He's just really good at being annoying in my opinion. So you want to run like Tamaki or Halloween Miyako to steal his TP, so I guess he doesn't cast like his stuns and all like these annoying skills that he has. And then when it comes to Sagittarius, you don't want to run physical teams against him ideally, and you can either save your magical teams for the rabbit or Sagittarius. In my opinion, it's better to sort of just take down the rabbit with some magical teams because it's just much faster, and you can use some physical teams against Sagittarius. We'll talk about the physical teams that you can run. Sagittarius is a really weird boss because he can like land blinds and he can do like all sorts of things as his health gets lower, but in my opinion he's not as troublesome as a rabbit when it comes to like physical defenses, because this rabbit is just so terrible when it comes to actually trying to fight him with physical teams. So let's just go ahead and show the nightmare that it is in order to run a physical team against him. So we'll run June Saren. We all know how consistent June Saren is, but it's by far one of the most inefficient teams when it comes to this rabbit boss, and it really breaks my heart because June Saren has like rock CB for like what, the past 8 CBs, and it's usually unstoppable. But look at the damage that we're dealing like around like the 1 minute mark, right? And I know some of you will be like, Bork, it's only been a minute, why are you worried about it? Well, look, we've only dealt like barely 200k damage. Usually June Saren at this state has dealt like double the damage, and you know, I know it's running on auto, I know it's not the most efficient thing, but at the end of the day, June Saren is better than the damage that you can deal here. So obviously don't run something like June Saren against like the Bugs Bunny team or the bunny team in general. I think most folks already know that, but I just really want to emphasize the fact that the damage here is terrible. Like, we're already at the 30-second mark, we're barely doing like 460k right here. I think we'll end up with like 600k at best. But do I really need to show you guys like this team is just absolutely terrible? Let's go ahead and retreat. All right, so let's go ahead and run like the actual teams you should be sort of looking into, and that's just going to be a magical comp like we talked about earlier. And just note, this is the one that I'm running. No, I do not have my Ilya at 11.4. Ilya was at 11.4. I could deal much more damage, but when you run Ilya at 11.4, you also have the chance of possibly having her kill herself. So it's up to you. You can either run the safer version at 9.6 because she's able to consistently cast her UBs a little bit better, and I guess for some reason it's just better in that sense. But in 11.4, she has a chance of essentially critting herself and killing herself at the end of the day. And you know, because she's able to deal more damage, she's also able to kill herself a little bit better. So I mean, like, I know it's really weird because Ilya like kills herself and everything, but you can see right here we're at the 50-second mark and we're already dealing like a metric ton more damage than like the June Saren team. And that's not really something that I want to say, because at the end of the day, when you look at magical teams, I think they're pretty expensive. You have Ilya here, who's difficult to get. You have Summer Carol here, who's like a limited time unit, and then you have Kyoko right here. And I'm not using like the most efficient Kyoko because my Kyoko is at 3-star. If I use like, you know, a support Kyoko who's at 5-star, I would definitely deal more damage. But at the end of the day, you can see here there's a clear difference in damage with what we're dealing with here, and in my opinion it's just so much more worth it to run a magical team for the Bugs Bunny because he's just not as terrible when it comes to actually fighting him. And then we'll show off like, you know, the Spirit Horn team that we want to run, because even the Spirit Horn team, I think it's a little bit unconventional with what I'm using. Spirit Horn is going to be double Tamaki, but as you can see here, we dealt pretty fantastic damage with this magical team right here. It's not phenomenal, it's not the 1.58 million that was showcased in the auto teams, but that's because my Ilya is not up to snuff. She's not like max leveled, you know, 11.4 and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and run the Sagittarius team right here. So this is usually my template. The only thing I do is put in my normal Tamaki. I think like Summer Tamaki can be a little bit higher ranked. Don't quote me on that. I just left her at 9.6. I'm not really trying to max like my rankings out anymore because you guys know I'm retired. But just note that this is the team template that I want folks to sort of see. You don't have to run this exact team. The most important part is the Tamakis are going to be stealing the TP from the Spirit Horn. That way the Spirit Horn can be a little bit less annoying when he's casting all of his different skills, because like the stuns, you know, the knockback, all that stuff, those are like the little things that are just gonna really make you deal less damage against this run. If we ran like a normal team that has no TP steal whatsoever, we will deal significantly less damage just because he's just going to be able to cast more of his skills. And you know, he's doing his thing by lowering like the magical defense and all that stuff, but look at how much damage we're missing there while we're stunned, while we're knocked back. Units have to jump all the way back forward, and thanks to double Tamaki right here, we don't really have to worry about that as much, right? This is the only reason why we got Halloween Miyako, because you know, she can sort of deal with this situation where she can steal a little bit TP, but I'm not exactly sure how Halloween Miyako will pair with Tamaki. I know there's like other variants of teams, but you can see here the damage is decent. Like it's not like crazy high, like I'm doing like 1 mil plus, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna get worse once we get to the third lap, because third lap is probably going to break everyone's heart. Like the damage that we're gonna be dealing is absolutely abysmal. Right now we're on the 5th lap. If we can showcase the 6th lap, you know, I'm more than happy to, but I just wanted to showcase that team against the Spirit Horn. And then when it comes to Sagittarius right here, ideally you run like the magical team, just so you guys can see it and just so we can, you know, understand how important magic is for like the CB. It's just insane because before they were useless. Like if you used it, it was just like, why are you running this? But even this team, because I'm not running Ilya at 11.4, it doesn't deal ideal damage, because the only way for me to actually deal significant damage against him, like over a mil, is 11.4 Ilya, which is rather unfortunate. And don't worry about like my Misato dying here. Like she always dies. There's nothing I can sort of do about it. I'm pretty sure like some folks already have like ways of like keeping her alive in manual. I'm not really entirely sure, but as you can see here, we're at like the 400k ish mark, like around the 50-second mark. What's really terrible is once he goes below like half, like once he gets enraged, he really lays on the damage and my Ilya 100% dies. But you can see how low my Ilya is here. Like imagine if she was 11.4 and she just crits herself at any moment, the run's essentially scuffed as heck. But you know, it's up to you whether you want to run like Ilya 11.4 or not, because at the end of the day, I just want my runs to actually be safe. So right here, my Ilya dies like around the 30-second mark, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to be dealing 1 mil. I think it's going to be like 830k at, but we're doing 800k right here. Can we get like, nope, we deal like 800k ish. And this is supposed to be one of the better teams. I'm not saying it's the best team. The best team is actually going to be one with like Kokoro and stuff. Like you can see it right here. But let's go ahead and showcase the team that I was running the other day. So if we go into my personal logs, you guys can see all the teams I was running. So fell back kind of late the other day when all of my runs were essentially the Wild Griffin, just so you guys can see it. And these were my runs against Sagittarius. Now, obviously the team that stands out the most is going to be the Tomo Summer Kokoro team. We'll run that. That's the one I wanted to showcase. And yes, that was during stage 2. And then, you know, here are the teams that I ran for today. I'll be running like the Tomo team against Spirit Horn a little bit later, but let's go ahead and run the Sagittarius team that I just showcased. All right, and this is the physical team that I wanted to run against Sagittarius. Now, I'm hoping that it deals 1 mil like I did the other day, because it's still at stage 2. I'm not entirely sure if this team is going to work in stage 3, and I want to give huge credits to the folks at Fug for essentially like allowing me to see this team, because without them, not on any of the sheets as far as I know. Like I was trying to check stuff. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to share this, so maybe like someone at Fug is going to yell at me for spilling secrets, but I think it'll be okay, right? Because all of the Sagittarius teams are like magical, and this was like one of the few physical teams that actually dealt some damage. Like I'm not saying it's dealing like significant damage. Okay, we lost Kaori right here. I have no idea if this is actually going to work now. I don't remember losing Kaori this early. If not, this is really scuffed and we're gonna have to try this again. But we're at the 400k mark or 500k mark. That's not terrible, right? Hopefully somewhat doable. Can we get like 800k at least? Can we get some damage? I don't think Kaori was supposed to die. That was not my intention whatsoever. Am I actually running like the correct team against this dude right now? We'll check it. We'll run it back. But right now we're at the 600k mark. Did I scuff this? Did I not run the right team? I'm really curious right now, but let's go ahead and see what happens right here. Tomo damage. We're right around the 708k mark. Well, you can't say that it's worse than the magical team because it dealt similar damage to the magical team. team is like around 800k. So in my opinion, that's like somewhat of a win. Obviously, there's gonna be people who's gonna run like significantly more damage. Everyone's like, Bork, I'm running like 1 mil plus. Well, I'm sorry, my units aren't like up to snuff. Like I think Ilya should be at 11.4 in order for this to actually work. Let me check my logs really quick just to make sure. Yeah, this was the exact same team with like Summer Kokoro, and it dealt 1 mil at stage 2. I got bad RNG where Kaori did something and she died first. I'm not sure what happened here, but you can see it in the logs. I didn't make it up. This team was able to deal 1 mil, but I dealt 800k on this round. So those are the teams that essentially I've been running for CB9, and it was pretty good. Hopefully we'll see what happens once we get to stage 6 or stage 3, because this is our final lap in stage 2, so that'll be really fun. Let's go ahead and jump into some battle arena right here. I want to cover a few things that's going on personally, just so you guys know like why things have been really infrequent with me. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I am going through a breakup right now with my current partner. It's really terrible. Not in the sense that like it's ugly, it's just that I'm heartbroken to say the least, and it doesn't help that my family is going through its own sort of things. So please bear with me during like these times. I wanted to get the CB video out even faster. I could barely talk the other day. Like I was in tears. I was trying my best to pull myself together. Thankfully, I was able to record something for my other channel the other day, and today I'm getting a little bit better thanks to, the folks around me. I apologize for not getting this video out faster. I know people wanted to see, actual live footage of running CB teams and actual explanations for the teams. This stuff just came up. Next CB, I'll try to be a little bit more proactive, but you guys at least got the auto teams and like the gist of like what you should be running with my previous video, hopefully. And I'm hoping that was enough help to at least, push you in a way where you run magical teams against the Bugs Bunny. You run magical teams against Sagittarius. Hopefully these extra teams sprinkled on top help some folks out. But honestly, when it comes to this like actual boss cycle, it's really weird because we've never had a situation where, we had 2 bosses that preferably run magical. Usually we only have 1 boss that prefers magical damage, like to this like extent, and then you can run physical teams on the other bosses, but you can run physical teams against Sagittarius, but it's very specific physical teams and not like every single physical team will work. Like June Saren, he's not like a plug and play in every single scenario, and usually June Saren is like quite possibly like the most invincible team because you can run it everywhere, and like if you have June, you're like a god in clan battle. But for this situation, it's changing. Like clan battle is changing. We're gonna be getting Christina very soon. I'm probably going to be pulling for her because that's what the last poll said. People want me to pull for her, so we're probably gonna do that. I will try to do a live stream just so we can talk in person about everything and how I'm feeling. Anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 27,500 subs, we're doing a giveaway. Thanks so much for watching. Have yourself a fantastic day, and see you guys in the next one.